Well, good evening and welcome to another episode of What's Going On. And I'm your host, Kathy Blaze Jefferson. So, we have an amazing guest tonight. Her name is Kendell Lenice. Welcome, Kendell.
Hey, how are you, Kathy? Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Such a pleasure, such a pleasure. How's your day been? I'm out here in Arizona and we have a rainy day and it's been so beautiful today. How about yourself?
It's been pretty good. I'm in Maryland. It's been pretty good today. The last few days it's been kind of warm, and today in Maryland, if
Really?
you know Maryland, you know that it could be cold, it could be warm, so it hasn't gotten to that fully warm space. But you're in Arizona, so you know about that
You,
warm
you
weather.
know, I know about the heat out here.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
it's such a pleasure to have you on our show today. And I'd like to read a little bit of your bio so our audience know a little bit about you before we get started.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Kendall's a certified life coach, a speaker. She's a talk show um, media personality and a healing advocate. And she's been a healing advocate with over 20 years experience helping people remix their relationships and lives. She's also a multi-book author. She has a new book that's called God Thinks I'm Special, a children's book teaching young readers about faith and self-worth. And she also, I'd like to mention, she's also a colon cancer survivor. That's something we will be getting into today also. So if this is a sensitive area for you, I just want to let you all know that we will be talking a little bit about that today. Kendall is very passionate about her faith and healing and empowerment, whether through her coaching, her books, media appearances, or corporate trainings on stress management. So, Kendall, again, welcome to What's Going On.
What's going on? I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for that
I'm
introduction.
happy to have you. I want to ask, beyond survival, how has I don't like starting off this word, but we're going to start off with talking about it. How has beating cancer changed the way you love, lead, and live?
It changes a lot in the most beautiful way. Now, some might say, "Oh, I'm fearful now. I'm scared. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that." And you have glimpses of that. But it allowed me to, I thought that I lived life to the best of my ability before cancer, BC, right? Before cancer.
Mhm.
But after cancer, it just heightened that I want to live my life. I want to be healthy. I want to be free. I'm silly. I love to have fun. So it changed it in the most beautiful way. How I love, I'm going to continuously love unconditionally, love people for who they are. I'm going to show grace. I'm going to show kindness and respect. So it just heightened everything that I was doing. Life, I take it by the horn, even at a certain age, I'm still dreaming, I'm still hitting goals, I'm still
Mm,
living, I'm still imagining and visualizing just like a child. So
right.
it heightened everything because God truly gave me a second chance at life. And if you think about it, I'm a survivor of many things. We all
Mm,
are, right? So
yes,
if I can
yes.
take a second lease on life or a second chance, but it might be a 15th chance because he protects us from the seen and unseen. So
That
I
is true.
you know what I mean? So
That is
I'm just
true.
happy, we don't know what he's kept from us. So
That
I'm just happy, and it just heightens all of those emotions. So that's how it's changed me. And it changed me just to be extra thankful and extra
mm,
grateful and really sit in that moment. Like so many people have passed from what God saved and spared me from.
true.
So how can I walk around with an attitude? How can I just be mad? Or, you know what I mean? When you ask somebody, good morning, well, what's good about the morning? You know what I mean? How can I,
Yes.
right?
God
How
woke
can
you up this
I,
morning.
exactly. Look, it started you on your way, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, so it just makes me thankful and grateful and want to get the word out. and share my testimony because God is phenomenal. I'm still here. You might not have met me. How about that?
That is true. That is true. And you
Yeah.
know what? A lot of times, some people go a lifetime without knowing how thankful they should be, how great their life is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it could be something that they experienced,
Mm-hmm.
not to the extent of what you
Mm-hmm.
experienced, and it's kept them in a box, kept them
Mm-hmm.
that they're that person that you were just speaking about. That what's good about it?
Yes,
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot good about it.
a
It's
whole
a
lot.
it's a whole lot. What's one thing you wish people knew about life after cancer? You kind of spoke on that a little bit, but can you get a little bit deeper and tell us something that you learned about it?
That I learned about cancer or learned about
Uh,
myself.
about yourself.
I learned about myself that I'm strong, that
Mm,
I'm more resilient than I thought. And I always knew that I was resilient. I always knew that I was strong, right? But if somebody would have told me, hey, you're going to have cancer, I don't know how I thought or would have thought that I would have handled that. So it just shows me that under pressure, that I can be, about my business, right? And I wasn't
right.
doubting that, but it's a difference. If you've never heard you have cancer, then you
Mm,
don't know what that's like. Before that, I could empathize. I did a lot of work with the Breast Cancer Association. I got um, a high recognition, I guess you will,
mm.
from one of the groups in breast cancer because I've done a lot of activism work and a lot of
Okay.
support. So I would hear it
Mm.
secondhand, but I had never heard it, right?
Right,
So I
right.
can only
It's a different
it's
experience.
a difference. And I can only empathize, but so much, right? When it's me hearing it about someone else. So to hear it for myself is what I'm saying is if you've never heard it, it's so hard to explain. But it just taught me how amazing I am and how kept I am, you know, with
And
God.
and I'm sure, when we hear about cancer,
Hmm.
we only hear about doom and gloom and we think it's over. I mean, for us. And a lot of people, that's all they're concentrating on, that it is over. I'm going to leave my children, my husband, my job, leaving everything because it's over.
Hmm.
And because that's what we hear.
Hmm.
And a lot of times we're not hearing it, but that's what we hear. That's
That's
all
what
we
I
can hear.
heard, Kathy. That's what I heard. I heard that. I told him, I was like, I don't want to die. I said, I'm getting ready to have a big birthday. My daughter's about to graduate from college. Like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? So you think that, even though you know that some people's lives are spared,
Right.
you cannot hear that word and not think about not being here anymore. It's
Yeah.
impossible. You can't hear, and immediately, even if you say, oh, I'm going to beat this, there's going to be a small voice saying, what if you don't?
Right, right. And especially like you said, this was a time that you were getting ready for your daughter to
Hmm.
graduate, and I'm
Hmm.
sure you had other milestones that was
Hmm.
occurring in your life,
Yep.
and and that's what you're thinking about. What
Hmm.
about all those things I had planned on doing?
Hmm.
Or what about my children? What about my spouse,
Hmm.
my partner?
Hmm.
You're thinking about all those things instead of woosah and actually listening to what the doctor is saying and the counselors and whomever else is speaking to you. You're not hearing all that.
Correct. Correct.
Mm,
Because you are thinking about that. A milestone birthday coming up. My daughter was graduating. It was so many things happening. And plus, so many things that I got plans for that I want to do. Like I said, I was still dreaming. I'm still hitting goals and milestones and benchmarks. And I'm
mm.
still loving life and living life. So just that alone. Plans. How about that? Just plans for the next day, plans for
Just
next
plan.
plans for 6 months, plans,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And you start to think about, well, what if my plans are not going to see it through? What if the things that I want to do, I'm not going to make it to do that? You know what I
right.
mean? So even if it's something simple like, dang, tomorrow I plan to go get a massage, just a simple plan. Like, what if I don't make it? You know what I mean? So it's not even, it is the big ones, but it's when you think about not being here anymore, you think about everything.
Oh, of course. And
Yes.
And being a woman, and it wasn't like you were hearing, oh, you have breast cancer, because that's usually what we think about when
Mhm.
we're women. We're concerned about going to get our mammograms and
Mhm.
taking care of that. We're never thinking about colon cancer.
How about that? How about
Right,
that? It's so
right.
true because when it's time for me to get my mammogram every year, been getting them for many years. I say a silent prayer, Lord, please, not let them find anything, because you hear about that. And that's
Mhm.
why I want to be a voice for colon cancer, because I'm walking into March saying it's Women's History Month, not
Yeah,
knowing 5 days through into the month I was going to be diagnosed with colon cancer. I've had people
mm,
say, well, you're a woman, you're a Black woman. How do you have colon
right.
cancer? That's for men, or that's for white men, or that's for white. I've
Yeah,
heard, and in our
yeah.
community, I want to change that. I want to say, hey, I don't know what you heard, but I
Right,
had it, right?
right.
I had stage 2 carcinoma of the descending colon with no symptoms. How about
Mm,
that? How about seven
mm,
out of 10 people don't have symptoms? How about that? How
mm.
about where it's the second highest leading cancer? How about that? With everything else, like everything, Black folk get it the most. How about that? You know what I
Mm.
mean? So I
And see, those are stats we don't know about, or
want
we may have heard them, but because we focus on other things, we're not thinking about, oh, I'm not going to catch that. We don't get that. We we
exactly,
we put all these thoughts in our head as what we
exactly.
think that is not going to happen to us.
Exactly. And
So,
it's so interesting because also people think, oh, it's older people. Now
mm,
millennials are the it's rising, the
yes, I've
number of
heard that.
millennials that are getting it. So
That
there's so
is
many
very
voices
true.
out there that, we got to really do our research, and God knew who to save, because I'm gonna tell somebody. For
And you know
sure.
what? And I like to think, you know what? God keeps us here for a reason. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we have a certain journey
Mm-hmm.
for a reason, and this
Yep.
is your journey right here. Because you
Oh,
know what?
yeah.
A lot of times, like I was stating, we need advocates like you to be out here so that they can hear you. Because a lot of times we're not hearing what the doctor is saying. Oh, he's just saying it, or she's just saying that.
Mhm.
We need advocates like you that's experienced it to let them hear your voice.
Thank you. And
That's
I've
what we
had
need.
friends. I've had friends said I wasn't even going to get one. One of my friends said I wasn't going to get one. To be honest with you, I didn't want to do that. I don't want to be put to sleep. That scares me.
Mm,
I wasn't going to get one.
mm,
I've heard a lot of people tell me that I
yeah,
know. But when I heard your story, I needed to get myself down there and get one. And if that
yeah.
changed 5 lives, I'm okay with that.
And you know what? We have to do better. We're going through so much in our country right now, and there's a lot of individuals without health care
Mm-hmm.
at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And to think about, oh, I need to go get my colon cancer
Mm-hmm.
colorectal test and those things like
Mm-hmm.
this. That's not the first thing they're going to think about. It's
Mm-mm.
about putting money, food on their table, and
Mm-hmm.
paying their bills, not about going to pay for a test somewhere.
How about that? How about
So,
that? And that is an issue. And I know, if someone is in that situation, check the clinics in your area. There are a lot of free healthcare programs as of now. Still, we don't know what's about to take
that's
place,
true.
but just check organizations, check nonprofits in your
Mm,
area, check the hospitals, ask if they know anybody. But I just don't want that to deter anyone from getting
right.
seen. And I know that that's a real issue. But the
It
thing about
is. It
colon
is an
cancer, it
issue.
is one of the most beatable. And yes, it's
Right.
an issue. And with
It's
colon
a big
cancer, it's
issue.
one of the most preventable and beatable. Yes. But because you can walk around feeling completely healthy, and not be aware that you may have colon cancer. That's the scary
Wow.
part.
Mm, mm.
Because I was
You-
walking around fine. I didn't know. And I was already at stage
right.
2. No idea.
Wow. Jesus.
Mhm.
How did your faith and personal strength get you through this experience?
I'm gonna start with my personal strength, and I want to, and then I want to talk about my faith, right? So my personal strength, as we talked about earlier, adversity, is not a stranger, right? Um, Being resilient and just pushing forward, that's just who I am. I'm not going to be counted out until I'm counted out. I'm going to think that I can do anything. I'm going to think that, I have my own strength, my personal strength, right? And of
Right.
course, we know that that strength comes from God because he made us. He made us exactly who we are, right? He knew
Correct.
what I could take and he knew what I could not take. He knew what I could bear and he pushed that limit, but he knew what I could not bear. So he did not
Right.
give me anything that I could not bear. When I
Mm.
look at it, I can see because had it went further, had I had stage 4, had my children had to watch me maybe not be here, that wouldn't be something I would be able to take.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't be
Yes.
able to bear that. So he knows exactly what he was doing. Now, when we talk about how faith, I don't know how it couldn't have because I was in the Bible, I was praying. I had people, I had strangers, I didn't tell them that I had colon cancer because I couldn't even say the word cancer with I have. I couldn't even
Of
do that. I was
course.
saying the C word. But even when I was on when I was on TikTok, that was like another channel I had. It was like 50,000 followers I had, right? And
Yeah.
I say that for a reason. And because I don't have that page no more. So I believe that that page was for those moments, right? When we're thinking like,
Mm.
oh, 50,000 people like me and follow
Mm.
me. When I tell you, I told people that I was going in to get surgery, didn't tell them what it was for. It could have been a bunion. They don't know. But when
Right.
I tell you
Right. Mm.
they prayed down, Kathy. They were like, we're praying for the hospital, we're praying for the doctors, we're praying that it's sterile, we're praying
Yes.
for the people who check you in.
Mm.
When I tell you it was paragraphs of prayers from people I don't even know, right? One found my new page and was like, oh my God, I haven't seen you. I had nurses in my chat saying,
Wow.
this is what you do. Use this machine, do this. When I tell you, honey, those prayers from complete
Mm.
strangers that I have never laid eyes on in person, that faith, that's what I had. I reached out to people who I knew had cancer. It didn't matter what kind. A few of my friends had breast cancer, some bone cancer. I reached out just because I
Yes.
knew that they knew what I was feeling. Um, my friend group got together and we had a Zoom prayer. I'm telling you, faith was all I had because at the end of the day, I'm not in control of my own life. Let's be clear.
That's
So
amen.
I only
And
could do what I can do, but
yes.
God above all anything that I can think.
Mm.
It surpasses my understanding.
Yes. Yes.
And when I woke up and saw that I was still here, my brother had called like I had just got out and had just got into, I guess, after the anesthesia wore off and after they, I guess, wheeled me into triage before I get a room. My brother was calling. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm here. Hallelujah!
Yes.
I
Yes.
made it."
Yes. And you know what? The great thing, we hear people complaining, I don't like this Facebook, TikTok, and all this stuff. These are platforms for us to utilize
Honey,
for things like
honey,
this. And you had an amazing platform to get
mm-hmm,
prayer for yourself, to pray for others. You had an amazing
mm-hmm,
platform there.
mm-hmm.
And we need to utilize these platforms for this. We need to utilize them for good, is what we need to do.
I
And
agree. I agree. And I know at first I was mad because they were like a lot of people were losing their pages on TikTok, and I
yeah,
was like, everybody, you'll see people scrolling through like, what happened? My is gone. But I understand that even though I had it before cancer, I it may have been, and this is how you have to look at things. It may have been purposed
mm,
for all of those prayers and me to get the word out there. And after that assignment was over, even if it was a year later, then that's what it was for.
that's true.
And I'm
That's
and
true.
I'm okay with that. If that were the reason, And if God wanted me to do another one to restructure the pay, whatever it was, sometimes we don't know.
That
We'll be
is
in our
true.
feelings. So I was in my feelings now for about, a little bit. Like, what?
Now,
What happened?
what we have to remember is not about us, and that's the thing.
Exactly.
We try to hold onto the wheel and drive. It's not up to us to drive. We have to pay attention to what He's telling us to do.
Right.
And
Like Latoya
and
Luckett said, Jesus, take the wheel and put me in the trunk.
yes, Kendell, what surprised you the most about yourself during this?
My response and my reaction and how, because I'm going to always, figure it out. And I'm always the type of person that I'm going to make it do what it do. I'm going to give it my best ability. So I didn't break down when he told me. I think I was in shock, but I went into business mode. I said, what do I have to do? They were like, well, you have to book your surgery, you have to do this, da, da, da. And I just went into the mode in the car. One of my girlfriends.
You are a certified life coach as well. So I'm sure you took some of your own advice.
I did. And if you would have told me that I would have responded like this, not that I'm not strong, not all the things that we talked about, but I would have thought that possibly I would handle it differently. I would have thought that I would handle it like falling out, you know what I mean? Or when I first heard the news, because that's jarring. To hear that, it's earth shattering to hear that, especially when you have a family, especially when I have 2 daughters, especially when you have, and then still have life that you want to live. Right?
And I'm sure you had your weak moments. And when you did have those moments, what got you through that?
Let me tell you something. I had them, and at night they would come more because you're still at night. It's dark at night, in the daytime you can busy yourself with some things. But when you're asleep or when quiet and the house is quiet and it's just you with your thoughts, 100%. And I will say this, and I'm not name dropping. That's not what I'm doing. This is purpose. So I remember LL Cool J's wife, Simone I. Smith, right? I've had her jewelry for years. I've supported her entrepreneurial ventures. I like her personality, like her style. And I remember I was watching an interview on her, and she was talking about how she was surprised with cancer, and that's how she ended up starting her jewelry business, right? So a mutual friend I follow on Instagram is one of her best friends.
Okay.
So I told you earlier, I was reaching out to my friends, people who had cancer and know what that's like. And I reached out to her. Her name is Debbie. And I asked her if she could put me in touch with Simone. And I told her the situation, just found out I had cancer. When I tell you Simone got back to me, she was giving me prayers that I needed in scriptures, right? And a scripture that she gave me was what I needed. Because remember, I told you at night, right?
Yes.
He gave me a scripture, and it was Psalms 91. Can't remember the verse, but it said in the nighttime. And that was like one of the first things I read. And I was like, in the nighttime, so it was definitely purposed. And the people that I told, it was very strategic. People that would have thought that I told them, or you would think that I would tell them, I didn't. I was telling people that if I had to write it down, if you ever have cancer one day, who are the first people you want to know? That list would have been totally different. I allowed God to guide it. And I was telling people that I wouldn't have told. It was very driven by God. So that's what I surprised myself with. And that's when the low moments were at night. And I told you,
and you got the perfect prayer for that.
Perfect.
The perfect scripture for that.
And she said, "You're going to make it." She said, "You're going to survive. Oh, you're going to be here." When I still have those messages. She was like, "You're going to be here. You're going to be fine." Then when I was fine,
that is such a blessing to hear that.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you reach out to people close to you, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't get the response that you
Mm-hmm.
expect to get. So that's such a blessing.
Yes, never met her in person a day in my life. And when I tell you, she just didn't say, "Get well, sis." She didn't
Mm,
just say, "You're gonna be good, sis." She was paragraphs. And I
yes.
still have them. Have I ever shown anybody? Absolutely not, because it's not even about who she is, right? It's
Right,
about if
right.
I go to her now and say, "Hey, you remember?" Like I would love to see her, just to tell her, just to have that moment. But
And
if I can't have
you may one day meet her and be able
I
to
may
tell her
one
that. That
day.
oh, that is such a blessing. It's so
Mm-hmm.
great to hear. You have a new book coming out. Tell us a little bit about your new book.
Yes, God thinks I'm special. It was released yesterday officially.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, it's called God Thinks I'm Special. I have a little, this is just a
Oh,
bit. God Thinks I'm
oh.
Special right here. Is she cute? Her name
Yes,
is
she
funny.
is.
She is so cute. Thank
Congratulations.
you. It's available on Amazon and winpublications.com, WINN. But that book is very special to me. I have several books out, but I feel like this is my first. This is my first children's book. I work with children a lot. I've always wanted to do a children's book and have written them,
Mm,
but it just didn't pan out because it wasn't supposed to. This was supposed to be the
right.
first, as I'm talking about God. So the reason why it's called God Thinks I'm Special, and it's a children's book, because we know we talked about social media earlier. So being
Mm-hmm.
on social media, everybody wants to feel special by the right guy, the wrong woman. The likes on
Right,
social media, they want to be in this group, this friendship. They want people to like them, people to love them, think that they're
right.
dope, think that they're cute. All of these things, because everybody is tap dancing for whoever to
That
feel
is true.
special, right? And as a life coach dealing with adults, I see the ramifications
Mm,
of that, right? So
mm.
I wanted to tap into the younger ones because I work with kids. I hear
Right,
what
and
some of
get
the
them
older
prepared
ones
for it.
are going
And
through.
that's what that is funny that you said that. This is a children's book that's talking about this, and those are the things that we see adults going through every day.
Yes, because it's going to speak to your inner child as well. So if I can catch them when they're young to let them know God thinks you're special. So you ain't got
Mm,
to tap dance, and you if you get one like and that's all you get, you already
right,
know that you're worthy and you have value. So
that
it's
is
a cute
true.
little book to teach them that God thinks I'm special and different things in there.
I love
And I'm
that.
just so thank you. I'm just so proud. I'm proud of it. I'm so happy
That
about
is
this book.
wonderful. Congratulations,
Thank you.
congratulations. Any words of encouragement you can give us?
Yes. First of all, I just want somebody out there to not be defined by where they're from, what they've been through, what their age is, what their nationality is. I don't want you. And my saying is it's never too late to remix your life at any stage, age, or
Mm,
phase. So it's so important to not allow the barriers or your insecurities stop you from getting what you want and doing what you want. So many people barricade themselves into themselves because of fear or thinking they're not worthy or thinking they're not good enough. I want to tell you that you are worthy. You are good enough. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can still do it. And I see so many people who feel once they reach a certain age or they come from a certain background, they feel like
right,
they're limited. But I want to tell you, you're only limited if you limit yourself, right? And I also
right.
want to tell you that you can do it.
Mm,
Whatever it is, you can do it. And whatever you're going through, it's not going to rain forever. It's not. I know it seems like it's flooding right now. I know it seems like it's a tsunami out there, but it cannot rain forever. Eventually, the
that
sun will
is
shine
true.
again. So you have to make sure that you're equipped and do your self work and do your healing and just love on yourself because God loves you. Trust me, He does. If you're still here and you can hear me and see
Mm,
me, He still loves you. Because let me tell you something, life is not always easy, like you hear. Life be
that's
life,
true.
but God is always going to remain the same. And I
That
want to
is
tell you
true.
also to be an advocate, yes, for your health. Don't listen always to the doctors, right? always, because they told me, oh, well, you can wait to go to get your colonoscopy. You don't really need to get it right now. God was like, go now. And had I
Yeah.
not been an advocate for myself, I would not be here. So I just want you to know that you are a light, and use your wisdom, use your gut feelings, and pray
Yeah.
about something. But I mean, I think that people just need
And,
to.
and not to interrupt you, but use that time at night when you're hearing those voices in your head, and have some quiet time and listen to God's voice and see what advice he's giving, what he's telling you to do, instead of what anyone else or what you think you should be doing. Have some quiet time at night and listen to
100
God's voice.
100%. I totally agree, Kathy. And it's so, but get out your own head. That's what
Mhm.
Kathy's saying. Get out your own head.
Get out your own head.
Hmm.
And you know what? That was a message. That was a message right there of encouragement, because I haven't talked to you today.
Mm-mm.
I just met you today.
Hey, girl.
And I post something on social media today stating what those words of encouragement that you just gave us.
Wow.
Um, one person can tell you, "Oh, you're not good at this. You shouldn't do that." And it's something that it's your dreams. It's what you want to do. Or you too fat. You're too skinny. You're too this. You're too that. A person can tell you that, and it pushes you back into that box. So those words that you gave just now is so powerful, because we can allow one person, don't know what their experience is in life, what they've done, but
Mhm.
we're going to listen to one person and prevent us from doing what we need to do.
That's so true.
And
That's
sometimes
so
that's all
true.
it takes.
You can hear 10 amazing things,
Mhm.
uplifting things about yourself in one day. But if somebody just looks at you, not even say anything, Kathy, if
Mhm.
somebody looks at you that you a way that you think looks odd, you're gonna be like, oh wait, is it my hair? Is it my breath?
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna
Hmm.
start dissecting yourself, and you're gonna start pulling yourself apart, and it's going to
That's
stay
true.
with you all day. And you're gonna ignore the person that say, hey, I think you're great, or you look nice, or
Right.
you're smart. You're gonna neglect all of that, and you're gonna focus on a look where nobody even said anything.
That's true.
Because you're
So
in your
true.
own head. You got to get out of your own head, and you got to get connected in your heart, and you got to get it connected with God. That's so important. And you only
So
can hear it when
important.
you quiet down the chatter. That's when you hear.
That is, so you know what? I'm going to take your advice, because for some reason at nighttime, that's my busy time. I'm a night owl.
Me too.
So I'm going to have to woosah and quiet down my head at nighttime. My spiritual mentor used to tell me that, Kathy, you need to quiet it down at nighttime.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
going to
it's
take your
hard.
advice.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy, but the
It
more you
is.
do it, like anything, the easier it becomes.
That's true. Kendall, how has your experience been partnering with Swagger Magazine?
I love y'all. And I'm so happy to be a part of the Swagger family. To be able to, we got a lot of things planned, going to
Wonderful.
different events, to cover those and to do whatever I can and use my abilities and experience to help grow Swagger. I think it's a great organization, a great channel, a great ministry, if you will, if you think
Yes.
about it, really
Yeah,
uplifting women, and I love
I
swagger.
know.
I love it. And I love y'all reposting my videos to
Oh,
inspire. And
that's
so the
that's
experience.
so great to hear those things. They work really hard at what they're doing, and to hear that you guys love and appreciate what they're doing. So thank you for sharing
Mhm,
that.
mhm.
I want to look at some of the comments we have over here. Francesca, you both are making some great points about this issue. Janet Downs, the prayer of the righteous avails much. And Francesca, again, that's a message. Everything has a reason. That's true. And Lenice says, and Kevin says, hi, Kendell, Lenice.
Hey, Kevin.
Look, I had to get that right because he put your whole name there.
Hello.
Is there any last things you'd like to say before we end this call tonight?
I just want to say, since it is Women's History Month and Swagger is a women's magazine, focuses on inspiring, uplifting women. You can tell. You just follow on social media. You can see the posts. Yeah. You can see what they're doing, and it is a Women's History Month. So I just want to say that women need other women, right? Support and sisterhood is so important when it comes to women, especially Black women. You know, sometimes, and a lot of women can be this way, but I am a Black woman, so I'm speaking from that perspective. But, you know, a lot of women can be catty, and instead of complimenting another woman, they'll find something flawed about them to focus on that instead of celebrating and uplifting another woman. You don't know the power in that. I'm a woman's woman, right? I'm a girl's girl. I'm going to always big up another woman. I'm going to always compliment another woman. And I'm not afraid to help another woman. I'm not a gatekeeper when it comes to that. And I think women really need to realize that we need each other. Now, the thing is, I know that some women have been bruised and scarred by other women. So it's difficult for them to trust. And some of those women were their mothers or their aunties or their family members. And I've heard women a million times say, I don't deal with other women. You know, women are this, women are that. But all women aren't like that. So
that is true.
You can start small, give a woman a chance, or just, here's your homework. The next woman you see, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this today, give her a compliment. Find something genuine about that woman and compliment that woman. See the smile that comes on her face. See how her shoulders round. You know what I mean? So try that, because someone's going to try that with you if they're hearing this as well.
And see how. And you know what? That may be what she needs for that day. Is someone to say hello or to say, "Oh, I like your hair," or "You look beautiful today." I mean, we don't know what the other woman is going through. So that may be something that person needs that day. And I try to do that because being from Arizona, I hear in some of these groups all the time, oh, Arizona people act this way. And okay, you know what? Maybe you should extend the olive branch if you think that this person is acting a certain way. So when I'm out and about, if I notice a woman, she just had her head down and she's going to walk past me without speaking, I'll say, hello, hi, how you doing? I will extend that olive branch because I don't know what she's going through. Or she may be assuming, oh, she's an Arizona person, she ain't going to speak. I don't want anyone to think that about me because that's not who I am.
Yes, exactly. And I will say this, my daughters and I, we went for my daughter's birthday. My daughters and I, my daughter's friend, we went last year in 2024 in January. And when I tell you, we kept saying, these Arizonians are nice. Oh, they're nice. So friendly, so nice, so kind. Our experience was so amazing in Arizona. We went to Scottsdale and so warm, so personable. And we were like, we're definitely going to go back. So I'm not sure where people be thinking, you know,
I don't either.
That wasn't my experience. That was not my personal experience. And it's
my experience. And I'm glad to hear that. It's great to hear that. And I think too, sometimes when people are saying that, it's their own personal thing. So we need to get out of ourselves and just try something different. Yes. Try something. You move to a different state, try something different.
Try something different.
We have another message here from Mr. Harris. You're walking late and you impact everyone you come in contact with.
Charles Harris, thank you, babe.
So that looks like that's our last message there. Where can our audience find you?
Well, you can find me on Swag Her because y'all be reposting my stuff. And y'all going to see me on this, so you can see me on there. But also you can follow me on social media at Kendell Lenice, as well as going to my website, KendellLenice.com. If you want to book a life coaching consultation, if you want me to book me for your next podcast or event, speaking event, you can catch everything on my website, KendellLenice.com. Also, if you want to follow me over, on TikTok, my new page is the Remix Coach. Go on over
Look,
and
I'm
do
gonna have to
that.
go find you on TikTok now.
It's a whole lot of good. It's a whole lot of shaking going on over there.
There's a lot of everything going on over on TikTok.
You might find me dancing. Well, you might find me dancing on all social media platforms because I'm just blessed. Like my grandmother, Etta Francisco, who passed away at 102 a couple years
Wow.
ago. She would always say, "I'm too blessed to be stressed." How you doing, Grandma?
Blessed
Too
with
blessed
these
to be
stress.
stressed. That's old
Amen.
school, and I am her granddaughter, so I'm going to dance. If I ain't going to do nothing else, I'm going to dance.
Yeah, no
Because
need to be walking around all frowned up mad. I'm like, yes, just dance. I'm coming over to find you on TikTok, lady.
Mhm.
Well, it
Doing
was
the
such,
TikTok challenges. That come on now,
yeah,
the TikTok trends. Oh, that's me all day.
I know. I love them. Well, it was such a pleasure to have you here today, and I look forward to seeing all the amazing things you're doing out there, and I will catch you again on Swagger.
Thank you so much for having me, Kathy. This has been great. Thank you for giving me the platform to bring awareness to colon cancer. I know we've been having a good time smiling and
Yeah.
laughing, and that's just it. I want you to continue to smile and laugh. So, giving me this space and time to be able to talk about colon cancer and share a part of my journey, so you can put a face to what that looks like, and we
Yes.
can break the myths. It is Colon Cancer Awareness Month in March. The color
Okay.
is blue. And I have my ribbon on. And I
Yeah.
want you guys to know that pink is not the only color for cancer. Blue is, and March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay. I will be sharing that today also.
Thank
Oh,
you.
did someone, he says, you're walking into your light and you impact everyone you come in contact with. I guess he's correcting his message, Mr. Harris.
Thank you. He probably don't have his glasses on. That's why.
Oh, that's okay. I was texting one of my family members yesterday and it was all messed up. And I said, I call that my alien language.
Yes, we all do it. We all do it, especially that voice text.
I
That
know.
voice text would be like, "What are you trying to say?" I've done it. Yes. Thank you.
Well, again, Kendell, it was such a pleasure to have you on. Keep being the face, keep being an advocate out there, keep bringing awareness to colon cancer, and keep being you. Keep smiling.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me. God bless you.
God bless you too.